Okay, so very good evening, and thank you very much for this opportunity, ma'am. And let me ask you this question before I begin. How many of you here actually think that having a great focus is an asset for personal as well as professional life? Great, super. Thank you. And how many of you would love to improve your focus like by the end of this session? At least get some ideas where you'll have a lot of strategies to work on your focus and memory. Great. So you're in the right place, and my commitment is that before I leave in the next 1 hour, you will have a lot of content which you can use for yourself, and also very good mindset which you can get in the terms of focus and memory. So, is it okay to very quickly introduce myself? We'll go step by step. Is it okay to very quickly introduce myself?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm a second generation focus and memory coach with over 27 years of experience. So this February, 27 years started already. And if you can say my tagline, I help people to get extraordinary results in half the time and half the effort they normally put in. How? You will know shortly. All right. So that's my Limca record, which I got back in 1997. And I hold a record for memorizing 73 telephone numbers in 53 minutes, where I remember the telephone number along with the name. They shuffled the places, and I recalled if the name was asked, the number was given, number was asked, name was given. And they're all not from my phone book. Those days there were no phone books. And these are all strangers I met in an auditorium. Okay. And I was living in Malaysia for about 14 years, and I trained over 400,000 participants from 9 countries because it was easy to hop around. Malaysia is geographically very easy. And people used to fly into Malaysia to attend my workshops also. And the I've already done one from Malaysia and one from Singapore, and there are two more coming up very soon. And I have been asked to initiate the Malaysian National Memory Championships. So I was the chair for 7 years, and now also I'm helping them to virtually. I'm helping them right now, and some other things I've worked with a lot of companies, trained companies. And one thing, so I met Saloni back in year 2000 when she was associated with Aisha, and that's how I know her. And I was doing some training program for Aisha that time, year 2000. Okay, so and one thing is I don't lose people. If somebody comes into my contact, I'll actually keep them. Then next one is
And then that was Tata Infotech.
you are actually consulting for Aisha, isn't it? Masjid Mode ke paas mein, no?
Tata Infotech.
Tata
I
Infotech.
was working at Tata Infotech when we
Oh,
met.
okay, all right.
Was
So
it more? Yes.
poor memory, sometimes.
No, it's okay.
All right, okay. And I was also on the board of Malaysian Association of Professional Speakers. So I was a treasurer. So that's my thing, background. And if you see, 27 years ago, this was one of the pictures which I pulled out. And if you are wondering where am I, so that's me. I was leading the workshop, and everybody was much, much elder to me. So that's a brief introduction about me. So I'm here to give you maximum results. So if you're also wanting to get maximum result, can you put MAX in the chat box? So I know that you're looking for maximum result in the next 55 minutes. All right. Thank you so much. So let's move on, and let's get started. So please do participate. Of course, you participate, I know, but then it's just a reminder to participate more. If you have any questions, please do stop me, ask your question. And if you have something like a light bulb moment, you can share it in the chat box. You can share it also by unmuting, because we're a small group, it's absolutely okay. And if you don't agree to something, please stop me and say, Anant, I don't agree. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because when you say that, we have a conversation. Maybe I learn something new, or maybe you'll change your mindset, or somebody else will gain something from the whole conversation. Yeah. So, and I don't come from a background where please don't ask any questions, I'll be distracted. No, I'll not be distracted. Okay, I am very, very focused, and I'm very proud of it. So the first thing, let's get the basics right. When people have a challenge in everything, the challenge is all about the perceptions, because there's no such thing as a reality. Whatever you see as a perception, your perception is your reality. There's nothing more than that. And a very good statement which I've heard is that everything you see is your perspective, and everything you hear is an opinion. Okay, so absolutely there's no absolute truth. So why I'm talking about this is based on people's, now when you come to focus, memory, learning, reading, these kind of core skills in life, people don't have trained knowledge, they only have a gained knowledge. They don't train themselves, because unfortunately none of the academies, or we have never been formally trained on how to remember, how to learn, how to focus, how to read. We have not been told. The only thing we're told is beta ध्यान से पढ़ना, pay attention. सुबह उठ के पढ़ना, 4 बार पढ़ लेना. This is all the thing, but then we've never been told. So it's only gained kind of thing, and gain, you can get whatever things come in, you can just get it. But then you should have a right perspective of the things also. So perceptions can make a lot of magic. So let me show you something very interesting. Probably some of you have already seen this image, but this is one of my favorite images which I want to share. So what do you see here on the screen? You can put in the chat box, what do you see on the screen? Okay, frog. Super. So, when I ask the same question, a horse and a frog, great, frog. When I have a horse and frog, great. When I ask this question in different groups, I've got different answers. People said horse, people said frog, people said a rabbit, people said goat's head in a mutton shop, people said chicken in a supermarket, a dragon, old lady, I don't know what all we got. All right. Now, who is right? The answer is everybody is right, because that's what they are saying. So there's no wrong answer here. It's just a change of, they're looking from a different perspective, as simple as that. But what if, just for fun, what if I tell you this is actually a picture of a frog, a picture of a horse? Can you see the horse? I've seen some people already can see the horse. Now, what about the other people? Can you actually see the horse? Okay, let me help you see the horse. Can you see the horse now? Yeah. So this is exactly what is all about the perspective. What I've done is we just made a small shift there, and the shift will make a huge difference. And there's a very powerful quote by Venn Dyer. He says, when you change the way you look at the things you look at change. Very, very powerful. So today what we're going to do is we're going to change the way we look at focus. The results will change. My commitment. The only thing is you have to get the change. You have to see things from a different perspective. All right. And I can definitely say I see from a different perspective, because 27 years is a very long time to look at the same thing. So I've seen it very, very deep. Okay. And I very proudly tell people that, there are only few things I work in my life: focus, memory, reading, and learning. And they're somehow very much interlinked. So it is like one cluster. And I don't touch anything other than this. And I don't leave anything in this. So I've got that kind of a commitment, and also the knowledge base and experience. Okay. Now, so we'll start from here. So I'm sure you've heard this story, right? Can you guys tell the moral of the story very quickly? Maybe in the chat, maybe unmute and speak. I'm sure you heard this story.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. Perfect. Now, actually, that's the original, moral of the story. But I don't know really nowadays. Slow and steady wins the race. God knows. But I'm going to tell you one thing where there is no appeal. Okay. What I want to tell about that is those people who got distracted and lose focus will never win the race. Now, there's no appeal on this. The people who get distracted and lose focus will never win the race. The sad part is, even if they are capable, that's the cherry on the cake. Okay. Now, when people say, hey, you know what, I don't get result, it doesn't immediately mean I don't have capacity. It could mean that I'm not able to focus. Okay. And let's move on and we'll see. Now, this is something I want you to remember, and that is focus is like breathing, or rather you should make focus like breathing. What I mean by that is breathing is the most important involuntary action, right? And focus has to be the most important voluntary action. Now, why? Is because if you just look at your life, you scan whatever is happening with you. Okay. So what exactly happens is, whenever you have a challenge, as in an accident, or maybe accident needs to be like a very major accident. So okay, got it. So anything like whatever should not be said has been done, or you want to say something, you didn't say it, you tripped or met with an accident or some kind of mishap, small or major. When this happens, it happens when you have lapse focus for that moment, or sustained lapse of focus. जैसे focus हटा, दुर्घटना होना ही वाला है. But then it can be small or big, that's a different thing. But I'm not saying that
Butterface.
if you have focus, you will never make errors. I'm simply saying that if you have focus, the errors will drastically reduce and the stress will reduce as well. You know, the most amazing part why you have to work on focus is because focus and stress can never live together on the same platform. If one goes higher, the other has to lower. If focus goes higher, stress will go down. If the stress goes higher, focus will go down. So working on focus is more easier than working on stress. Okay, I'm not saying because I'm a focus expert, but I'm saying that it's really easy. So you will see how it works actually. Okay, so focus shifts everything in life. Whether you're mixing coffee, whether you're driving, whether you're attending a seminar, whether you're doing a pitch in a Shark Tank, it really doesn't matter. The amount of focus is directly, you know, it will get into the amount of result which you can get in any event. So that is that important. And this is one very interesting thing. Richard S. John, so he is also TED speaker and a lot of books he has done. 8 to be Great, that's what one of the biggest works which he has done. If you see there, the 8 things if you want to really work on: passion, work, focus, push, and so on up till persistence. And the first two, if you see, they are not teachable. You cannot teach passion, you cannot teach work ethic. It has to come from within. Okay, the very next thing is focus. It's that important. If you have the luxury of only working on one skill in your life, it has to be focus, because if when your focus is good, everything else will start falling in place, right? So let's move on. And I just want to ask you this kind of question. This is so amazing. Like, people have conversation, you know, like right now I'm having some coffee, right? We'll have coffee conversation, and suddenly sometimes people say, hey, खत्म हो गया, पता ही नहीं चला. Have you heard that? पता ही नहीं चला. Coffee खत्म हो गया, पता ही नहीं चला. And there are some people who always say this kind of a statement, यार मैं ना गुड़गांव से नोएडा ड्राइव करते चले गया, पता ही नहीं चला. मुंबई से पुणे ड्राइव करते चले गए सुबह सुबह, पता ही नहीं चला. Have you heard this kind of statement? Yes, no? And you know what?
Yes, Anand.
So let me tell you, there's nothing personal, but I just want to tell you something very important thing here. If somebody is saying that, it is very, very dangerous. One has to be on drugs to achieve that feat. You know why I'm saying this? It may sound very rude, but one has to be on drugs to achieve that feat. Now, why I'm saying this? 300 ml hot coffee going inside the body. It's a physical assault. If it is going somewhere else, it's okay. It's going inside the body, and if I'm saying pata hi nahi chala, to kya kar raha hu main? What am I doing on this planet? I am driving, and I got a call from one of the persons from UK, and this guy says, I drove 150 miles, pata hi nahi chala, and I got shit scared, like, this cannot happen. So is there anything we can do? I mean, pata hi nahi chala, like, you're driving, your life, somebody else's life is at stake, and you're saying pata hi nahi chala is not done. But people say, ये तो सबके साथ में होता है. सबके साथ में होता है तो सही नहीं है, क्योंकि लोग, they have not seen the otherwise out of it. That's why people say it's okay. Now obesity is so common, like people say कि हाँ ठीक है ना, सभी overweight है अभी.
Hi, good evening.
Okay. Good
Yeah,
evening.
Ravi here.
Okay, so let's move forward, and I just want to ask you this: how many of you like to do multitasking, or how many of you good at multitasking? Okay, you have your own opinion. So, okay, let me ask you this question: is multitasking good or bad?
It depends on the
It's not
person.
good. Depends.
Very bad.
Depends,
Very bad.
depends on the
Okay.
person.
Multitasking
I am
is required
I am
sometimes.
bad on multitasking.
Multitask is required sometimes. Okay, I got all the things. I feel it's not possible for men. Yeah, women were good in multitasking. Yes, and it is required. You know, subah subah, especially if the women is working, it's much more required. They want to wake up, then the doodh wala comes in, somebody asks for coffee, lunch has to be packed. No, without multitasking, life don't work. I understand that, but I'm not getting there. I'm simply asking good or bad. So it depends.
So purpose makes it like, for what purpose you are doing multitasking?
अच्छा, पर्पस के हिसाब से मल्टीटास्किंग गुड या बैड होगा, ठीक है, गॉट इट. नाउ लेट मी टेल यू माय philosophy again, very simple. Nothing is good, nothing is bad. It's a perspective, right? Multitasking is neither good nor bad. Do you know why? Multitasking is neither good nor bad because it is worst. If it is bad, it is still good. It is worst. And we'll talk about that why it's worst in a while. But a lot of people take pride in saying, I'm a good multitasker. For God's sake, please don't take pride. Tell yourself, कोई चारा नहीं है इसलिए मैं multitasking कर रहा हूं. But if you're taking pride, I can only say one thing, God bless you. There were days where people are writing multitasking is my very good skill, and HR people used to like it. Now, if you put multitasking is my strength, the resume goes into the dustbin directly. Okay, so multitasking really doesn't work. It not only doesn't work, it will hamper results, and there are a lot of things which will come up. So I'll share it in a while. So for now, I just want to tell you that multitasking is a strict no-no. But having said that, sometimes in life you need to do it, and please take that कोई चारा नहीं है इसलिए मैं कर रहा हूं. It's a very wrong thing. It's a crime. Actually, it's a crime. But do the crime, but being very aware of the crime. So when you do a crime, you will get punishment. When you do multitasking, you will still get punishment. But still, if there's no option, what can you do? You have to do multitasking. So don't take pride in that. Okay. Let's move on.
One question, Anant.
Yeah, Deepak ji, go ahead.
Yeah. The thing is, like I'm jogging on the jogger.
Okay.
And while jogging, it's an automatic process. I don't have to put any effort there. It is automatic.
Amazing.
And I'm watching TV and looking at the news.
Got it.
So, and
is it multitasking or not? Super. Yeah. So let me define multitasking. So multitasking has got two. Multitasking means when you're doing more than one thing, which needs your conscious effort.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. So when you're in jogger and you're listening to music, it's absolutely wonderful. There's no problem. When you're in jogger and you're listening to Tony Robbins' lecture, it is multitasking. When you're on the jogger and you're reviewing Tony Robbins' lecture, it's still okay. But if you're listening for the first time, it is strict no-no. Now, what happens is jogging when you're doing, even though you think that I'm not required, but when you pay attention to jogging, your result will be much higher in jogging. Okay, the next slide will answer your question partly also. So what my recommendation is, just do one thing. If you're jogging, just jog. And if it is a light music, it's absolutely okay. But a lot of times why I don't recommend this is because a lot of times what happens is I'm jogging or I'm driving, I'm listening to, let's say, Tony Robbins' book. Okay. I'm jogging and I'm listening to Tony Robbins' book. So in my mind, it's a check mark. मैंने सुन लिया. Okay. And tomorrow when I go to a tajurba meeting, somebody talks about Tony Robbins' book, and I say, अरे यार मैं तो पढ़ा लेकिन कुछ भी याद नहीं आ रहा है. याद इसलिए नहीं आ रहा है क्योंकि I have not paid my complete attention. So then I'll say कि यार something wrong with me. Even though I read so many books, even though I hear, what, something wrong, so sad, something wrong with me. Nothing wrong with you. It cannot happen. Okay. So you have to do one thing at a time. So multitasking is like, if you're walking in your own house and you're reading something is okay, but you're walking in the mines and you're reading something, oh, that's multitasking, because though both of them need your extreme attention. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Deepak ji. So let's move on.
Yeah, got that.
Thank you so much. So let's move on, and I want to share something very important which people.
Anand ji, one thing I want to जैसे आपने बोला कि बुक पढ़ते समय अगर वॉक करते हैं, that is multitasking.
Absolutely multitasking. जॉगिंग करते समय आप बुक सुन रहे हो,
अगर घर में अगर बुक पढ़ रहे हो और वॉक करते हुए किसी की हैबिट होता है ना ऐसे घूमते पढ़ना,
वो ठीक है. आप ही के घर में थोड़े इधर उधर कर रहा है, वो मल्टीटास्किंग में नहीं जाएगा बहुत ज्यादा, क्योंकि वो आप रूम में आंख बंद करके भी वॉक कर सकते हैं. इसमें आपका जो एनर्जी जाएगा माइंड के जीरो है वो.
So is it good habit for reading a book?
That's a personal thing.
Okay.
If it works for you, why not? See, again, good and bad नहीं होता है, workable, not workable होता है.
Okay.
So there's no good and bad. You have to see whether it is workable or not workable, because every mind is unique. There are guidelines. There cannot be rules in the mind world. Okay, mind space में rules नहीं हो सकते, guidelines हो सकते हैं. But there are some very strong guidelines which are there. Like multitasking is strict no. It's a guideline. But having said that, I'm saying that do multitasking if you have no option. But don't take pride. Okay, वैसे ही होता है. ठीक है. So, every thought is an expense. A lot of people think यार thought तो क्या है यार? Thought तो thought ही है. But let me tell you, there's a lot of things. I would rather say when you're thinking, the most important life energy goes as an expense. Expense is something going out. Something going out. That's an expense, right? तो सोचेंगे तो क्या जाएगा? Everything will go out. So I'll think कि अच्छा मुझे शाम में डिनर करना है, डिनर में ना मैं बिरयानी खाऊंगा मैं, उसमें क्या जाएगा मेरा? What do you think will go out? It's a very simple thought. Any idea what do you think will go out? Any guess?
Energy.
The ability of thinking for more important stuff.
Okay, the ability of more thing. Okay, energy goes out. Okay, got it. Anything else which you can think of?
Your own, the capability to do something positive through your minds. You are putting it in nonsense things.
Okay, got it. All right, super. So just to sum it up, let me tell you there are 5 things which go out, not just one thing, 5 things, and you have no option. All these 5 things go out. Now those 5 things are, I call them as neurocurrency. Neurocurrency is the currency of the mind. Okay, this is the real money behind the real money which you see. Now this neurocurrency will allow you to make as much currency as you want. Okay, you'll know why in a while. So let's talk about these 5 things which go out. The first thing is the time goes out. मैं बिरयानी के बारे में सोच रहा हूँ या I want to invest $20,000 in cryptocurrency. The thought scale can be different, but then time goes out for sure. बिरयानी के लिए थोड़ा टाइम जाएगा, $20,000 इन्वेस्ट करना चाहो उसके लिए बहुत ज्यादा टाइम जाएगा. Okay, टाइम जाएगा, पक्का जाएगा. The second one is your energy will go out. I'm talking about the mental energy. And then your mental space will go out. Biryani will occupy some space, 20,000 will occupy some more space. Okay, the scale is different, but space is a constraint. And then your emotion. बिरयानी के साथ में भी emotion होगा या मेरे friend के साथ में जाऊंगा, मजा आ जाएगा यार, बिरयानी बेस्ट बिरयानी है. ओके, उसके साथ में emotion है. And $20,000 आपको क्रिप्टो में डालना है, उसके साथ में भी emotion है. Scale is different, but emotion जाएगा आपका. And then focus भी जाएगा, आपका attention जाएगा. Right? So these are the 5 things which will go, and the sad part which you have to really come to terms and actually behave accordingly is that all these 5 things are limited in nature. We don't have unlimited of anything which is there on the screen. All the 5 are limited. So if you are spending these things on low value tasks, you will not have this to spend on the things you want to spend. एग्जाम्पल के लिए करेंसी का मतलब लेते हैं, तो लेट्स से मेरा घर चलाने के लिए 1 महीने के लिए 100 रुपए लगेगा. एग्जाम्पल, ठीक है. तो मैं 1 फरवरी को मैं सोचूंगा यार ना लाइफ में मजा नहीं आ रहा है, तो 4 दिन गोवा जाके आऊंगा मैं, चलो मस्ती करके आता है, थोड़ा रिजुविनेशन चाहिए. So I go to Goa and spend 55 rupees in Goa in the 4 days. On 5th of February, I come back and I've got a whole month left with me and I've got only $45. Do you think I'll end up in stress or not? Of course I end up in stress because it's money. I can say IRJ मुझे loan दिलवा दो, or I can borrow, I can take from credit card, I can break my FD, I can do something, or I can simply say मैं बाद में दे दूंगा, कुछ तो मैनेज हो जाएगा. लेकिन मेंटल एनर्जी कहाँ से लेके आओगे? कौन लोन देंगे आपको? कोई नहीं देंगे. Okay, so and your major objective in life should be to save on these things. You should make sure you save your time, energy, space, emotion and focus on irrelevant things. लो वैल्यू टास्क में आपको इसको डालना ही नहीं है. क्यों नहीं डालना है? देखो, आप कुछ भी आपको जिंदगी में कुछ भी आप चाहते हुए करना है, कॉन्शियसली आपको कुछ भी करना है ना, आपको ये 5 चीज लगेगा. Let's say you have a thing that okay, this Sunday let me make biryani for my entire family. Okay, you need time, energy, space, emotion and focus. Let's say you want to learn French, you need time, energy, space, emotion, focus. You want to do a BDM, you need time, energy, space, emotion and focus. हर चीज करने के लिए पूरे 5 लगेंगे आपको. अगर ये 5 गायब हो गया ना, that is where the stress comes in. Bandwidth नहीं है. So I'm going to use a word which may sound very not rude but very raw, but then that is exactly what happens. Bandwidth is nothing but औकात. माइंड का औकात खत्म हो जाता है ये खत्म होने से. So I mean it's like a literal translation. So if somebody asks me, Anant, would you like to buy an S-Class Benz cash down? I say, hey, you know what? I don't have that bandwidth. मतलब क्या है ना, औकात नहीं है, simply. Okay. So this is the mental bandwidth. This is very, very important and you have to take care of this. And I'll tell you some crazy things which I do in my life. Is it okay to share? Just for an idea, I'm not asking you to do that. From last 26 years, I have not been watching TV. And from last 13 years, I've not been reading newspaper. And from 2005 till date, you can only see me in black trouser. I don't have any other trouser other than black color. Because trouser black नहीं है तो कुछ दूसरा कलर होगा, फिर वो मैच होगा नहीं होगा, फिर ये सैड कलर है, हैप्पी कलर है, फिर मैं वही पहन के तजुर्बा मीटिंग में जाऊंगा, वो पता they'll recognize it or not. हजार चीजें चलेंगी उसमें. For me, black, like it will go anywhere. And when I go to a restaurant, I pre-decide what I want to eat even before I get into the menu. लोग रेस्टोरेंट में मेन्यू देते हैं, मैं मेन्यू साइड में करता हूँ, मैं बोलूंगा भैया मुझे पनीर डोसा लेके आओ. जब डोसा आएगा तब जाके मैं मेन्यू पूछूंगा. एंड समटाइम्स वेटर्स आस्क मी लाइक ये क्या है, उल्टा क्यों करते हो आप? बिकॉज आई जस्ट वांट टू नो व्हाट इज अवेलेबल देयर. नहीं तो क्या होगा, मेन्यू ओपन करेंगे, पहले खाना खाना है, मेन्यू ओपन करेंगे, डोसा नहीं है, डेली खाएंगे, ओ पनीर नहीं 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 नहीं, अच्छा यहाँ चाउमीन है, सिंगापुरी चाउमीन है, पंकज के साथ में आके खाएंगे. अरे भैया पंकज गए भाड़ में, पहले आई हैव टू ईट ना. व्हाई आर यू वेस्टिंग योर टाइम ऑन थिंकिंग समथिंग एल्स? So I make sure that I don't spend on other things. So you come up with your own ideas on how you can save time, space, energy, emotion, and focus. Very, very important. If you can just take this one slide home, you will thank yourself for being here. So is this making sense? If it is making sense, can you just put MS in the chat box so I know that it is making sense? All right. Okay, so let's move on and talk about distractions and this most amazing thing. So let me ask you one question. How many of you here actually get distracted? Okay, great. Those people who did not respond actually got distracted with something else. So distraction is that powerful, right? Everybody gets distracted. Okay, now I want to ask you something very interesting, and that is, can you define distraction? पीपल्स है ना हमेशा बोलते हैं यार डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो गया, मैं ना डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो गया. हाँ सही है, डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाता है, लेकिन जानते हैं कि यार ये डिस्ट्रैक्शन क्या है? एंड आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू योर द वे यू लुक एट डिस्ट्रैक्शन इज गोइंग टू चेंज इन द नेक्स्ट 3 minutes. बट आई वांट टू नो फ्रॉम यू व्हाट इज डिस्ट्रैक्शन अकॉर्डिंग टू यू. एनी आइडिया प्लीज? लॉस ऑफ अट्रैक्शन, दैट इज अ रीजन फॉर डिस्ट्रैक्शन. बट व्हाट इज डिस्ट्रैक्शन?
if you're working for some time and कोई आ जाता है cabin
That
में.
is an example of distraction.
Yes.
What is distraction?
Lack of
able to
attention.
focus, not able to focus is a result of distraction.
Lack of attention.
Confusion.
Lack of attention is basically what happens when you get distracted, or lack of attention से distraction होता है.
Lack of concentration.
Lack of concentration
No.
cause for distraction.
Like I'm doing
Something that
something
changes your
Being
priority.
not stable will cause distraction.
Confusing.
Okay, got it. So now isn't it amazing that
When you are not at peace.
when you're distracted,
doing
you're not at peace.
something. I'm doing something and then I saw my phone, something on social media, and I got involved 10 minutes there. That
Okay.
is distraction.
That is an example of distraction. Very good example. But what is distraction?
भटकना किसी चीज से.
हाँ, भटकना, right.
भटकना is not. आप distract होते हैं, भटक जाते हैं, या भटक जाएंगे तो distract होंगे आप.
Something that
Focus
takes
हट
you
जाना.
away. Distraction is what that takes you away from where your focus should
Focus. Exactly.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay.
Yes.
So distraction is something that takes away your focus from the activity which you're doing. Is it okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, got it. So let me just put the definition on the screen, so which I've taken from the dictionaries. Okay. Just let me share the screen again. Okay. So is this clear? Distraction is something that splits your attention either partially or completely from the activity you're doing or intending to do. जैसे माया जी बता रहे थे, तो मैं आपसे बात करने का चाहत है या मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन मेरा फोन बजा है, तो पार्शियली मैं ना अंडर टेबल में मैसेज कर रहा हूँ, तो दैट्स अ पार्शियल डिस्ट्रैक्शन. और आई स्विच ऑफ द कैमरा एंड से ओके गिव मी 1 minute एंड मैं वहां जाके बात करके आ जाऊंगा, दैट्स अ टोटल डिस्ट्रैक्शन. सो देन आई कॉल एज बॉस, ये फोन मेरा डिस्ट्रैक्शन है. Is this clear? Is it making sense? Do you agree? If you agree, can you just put agree in the chat box?
I agree.
Amazing. So if you want to write it down, please write it down, because this is very, very essential. This is a compilation from 3 dictionaries together. So you won't see exactly anywhere because I've compiled. I've not used my creativity there, okay? Have you written it down? Great. Thank you so much.
1 minute, Anand. 1 minute.
अच्छा 1 minute 1 second, मैं अभी आपको सेव कर देता हूँ. या आप स्क्रीनशॉट भी ले सकते हैं, इजी है.
स्क्रीनशॉट फिर भूल जाते हैं.
हाँ ठीक है, आप लिख लो ना. Okay. Meanwhile, is it okay that I want to give you a small task? Maybe I'm very sure that you will not like me for that task. Is that okay? Because I'm not here to make you like me. I'm here to give you something fair. But I'm sure most of you will not like it. I'm okay to take that chance. Are you okay to do the task?
Okay.
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 Very good. Thank you so much. तो जितने लोग भी डिस्ट्रैक्शन का डेफिनेशन लिखा है ना, उसको ऊपर से नीचे तक ऐसे क्रॉस मार्क कर दो. Cross it like that. This is what is causing distraction in life. There's no distraction than this definition. This is what's the problem. अगर ये आपका definition है, God bless you. You will never come out of distraction. But unfortunately, this is what is being in circulation. I am not getting into right or wrong. I am getting into workability. ये बहुत ही disempowering definition है. हमको यही पढ़ाया जाता है. हम लोग यही मान के चलते हैं. Okay, so this is the problem. You just strike it down. अगर आपने लिखा है तो काट दीजिए. Then you must be thinking यार पागल हो गया क्या, वेंकट जी ने क्या वेट करूंगा, दोबारा स्क्रीन शेयर किया है. मैंने इसलिए किया है ड्रामा क्योंकि आपको याद रखेगा. You will remember that. Okay, so have you struck it down? And why you have to strike down is to tell your mind that this is not true. This is the most useless definition which we can ever get. Useless as in not workable. Okay, but this is what you find in dictionary. So I'm not finding fault with anybody. Now, why is this very disempowering? If you just see, very simple there. Something that splits your attention. Wow, क्या बात है. मैं तो ना, my focus is better than this. But the Amazon guy is the problem. Somebody calling me is the problem. मेरा कोई problem नहीं है. Something that splits my attention is the problem. So what you're doing is you're actually switching responsibility. Instead of taking responsibility for distracted, you're saying phone is the problem, old man is the problem, door knocking is the problem, Amazon delivery is the problem, computer flickering is the problem. That is not the problem. The problem is you. Because distraction is within, it's not outside. Okay, something that splits your attention, that means you're not taking. If let's say for example I'm weighing 237 kgs and you as a medical person or any person as a friend, you say Anant, you are obese, you are very fat. Then if I say यार क्या बोलते हो यार, मैं तो चबी चबी क्यूट क्यूट हूँ, क्या बोलते हो यार तुम. If I say that, I will never take even one step to reduce my weight because I'm disowning responsibility. So when this is the definition, you will not disown it and you don't do anything, so you'll not get any result. So is it okay? Can I offer you a workable definition? Can I give a workable definition? Is that okay?
Yes, sure.
The workable definition is this. Working definition could be distraction is your response to a happening. It's your response. अगर आप keyword अब response देखेंगे ना, आपको दो options आएगा, एक yes एक no. अगर आपने no कर दिया ना, it will stop happening in your life. This is not philosophy, this is reality. I can show you 1,000 examples in your life also, but I can show you some other good example. Can you see this guy Messi? Now when this guy is playing football, there are about 100,000 people. 1 lakh लोग तो होंगे स्टेडियम में. Do you think they're all silent with mute mic mute करके बैठेंगे क्या वहां पर ऐसे? No, they are all shouting all the time. Do you think Messi is getting distracted? No. Is he deaf? No. Now why he's not getting distracted is because he didn't choose. Distraction is a choice, but unfortunately, because we have not done some work on it or had a clarity on it, we get distracted by default. But the thing is, distraction needs your approval. अगर आप approve नहीं करते हैं तो distraction नहीं होगा. As I am talking to you right now, my mom in the other room is talking to her sister. I don't know, they can use phone also, but she's in 400 kilometers away. They can still normally talk using the phone. But then if I don't approve that, it is not reaching me. And there are a lot of people come up and say, hey, you know what? I got distracted, so I lost my focus. Have you heard this statement? I got distracted, so I lost my focus. But the actual statement should be, I lost my focus. That is why I got distracted. अगर मैं आपके ऊपर फोकस कर रहा हूँ या टॉक के ऊपर फोकस कर रहा हूँ, how is it even entering into my head? Now, when the Messi is actually focusing on the ball, how can anything else enter into the head? When the cameraman is focusing on Messi, how can the people in the background enter into the frame? एक चीज पर आप फोकस करेंगे, बाकी पूरा दुनिया ब्लर हो जाएंगे. This guy Sean who has taken the picture, you see the image, so he want to take the photograph of Messi and he just got Messi there, everything else is wiped out. This is exactly how life works in focus. So if you're focused, everything will become blur, and it is not the patriotism or 20 years of practice or commitment or passion. Yes, they might help, but finally it is the decision not to get distracted is what is helping Messi. If he wants to listen what people are talking, he will get heart attack and die on the pitch, in the ground. 1 lakh people shouting, you cannot imagine the noise. But then it's not happening because they simply don't hear that, because they don't choose to it. Now, have you heard people saying, hey, आपको ना react नहीं करना है, आपको respond करना है? सुना है आपने? टोनी रॉबिन्स भी यही बोलेगा, रविशंकर जी भी यही बोलेंगे, गीता भी यही बोलेगा, आपका मम्मी भी यही बोलेंगे, आप भी आपके क्लाइंट से यही बोलेंगे. But nobody talks about how. So I'll tell you something which may sound very different for people, and that is human beings are not wired to respond. Human beings are wired to react. If somebody coming and telling you, hey, you know what, you have to respond, oh really? It's like talking to people like you go to the fish and say, hey, you know what, you are actually supposed to fly. Tell it a million times and do whatever, it's not going to fly until it develops a wing. उसको मसल डेवलप करना है, वो उस नेचुरल प्रोसेस को तोड़ के बाहर आने के लिए. We are wired to react, not to respond. अगर हम लोग respond करते हैं ना, if we are wired to respond, we would have been wiped out much before the dinosaur. It is unnatural. We are not wired to respond. So people tell, okay, respond करना है, respond. कैसे करेंगे? नहीं कर सकते हैं. लेकिन अगर आप muscle build करेंगे तो कर सकते हैं. So we'll talk about that muscle also in a while. So let's move on and go further and get into the strategies right away. So far, is it making sense? So if it's making sense, can you just put MS in the chat box? All right, super. So let's move on. And now, if you want to really work on your focus, you first have to build your DAD. DAD is defense against distractions. Distractions होगा, लेकिन आपका डिफेंस बढ़ाना चाहिए. डिस्ट्रैक्शन नहीं जाएगा. एग्जाम्पल के लिए गो कोरोना गो बोलेंगे, कोरोना नहीं जाएगा. आपका डिफेंस बढ़ा लो. आप डबल मास्क करो, सैनिटाइजर करो, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग करो, लॉकडाउन करो, कुछ भी करो, या इम्यूनिटी बूस्टर करो. Now it's you have to build up your defense. Not corona will never go away, right? Similarly, distractions होगा, लेकिन आपका डिफेंस बड़ा है ना, तो it's good enough. So first thing for focus is, it's not a goal setting program, so I don't go any deeper into this. But then I want to tell you, people lose focus because people don't have a clear goal. If I have a clear goal, I will not lose focus. Example के लिए, मुझे खाना है, भूख लगी, मुझे खाना है, तो मैं बाहर निकलूंगा, पानी पूरी, मजा आ गया. पानी पूरी खाते हुए ना, वहां दूसरा वहां चाउमीन का दुकान दिखेगा, और यार चाउमीन खाएंगे, चलो. चाउमीन जाते हुए खाएंगे, वहां बर्गर दुकान दिखेगा, अरे बर्गर खाएंगे तो अच्छा लगेगा. दिस इज हाउ द माइंड विल वर्क. बट इफ आई डिसाइड दैट मुझे KFC खाना है, तो मैं बाहर निकालूंगा. When I go out, I will not get distracted by pani puri and chowmein and McDonald's, because I have decided the goal is clear, so I don't but go fight. Is this making sense? Life may be na, if you have a clear goal, your focus will tune up accordingly for the goal. So this is very, very important. So I don't want to go into goal setting procedure. So there are a lot of other people, so we can go ahead, but goal will help in focus, I can tell you. The second thing is follow one course until successful. And आपको multitasking नहीं करना है. Now multitasking करने से क्या होगा आपका? You are actually reducing your attention span. And by the way, technically there is nothing like multitasking. A lot of people say no, multitasking करते हैं लोग. Email करते हुए, ये करते हैं, email करते हुए मूवी देखते हैं. तो कुछ तो सिंपल है ना, ये मल्टीटास्किंग नहीं है. सो ईमेल कर रहा हूं, ईमेल मूवी, ईमेल मूवी, ये इतने स्पीड करते हैं कि देखने के लिए लगेंगे कि हम दोनों कर रहे हैं, दोनों नहीं कर रहे हैं. ओके, वी आर नॉट डूइंग बोथ द थिंग्स. ओके, वी आर डूइंग ओनली वन थिंग एट अ टाइम. बाय डूइंग द थिंग two things, you are actually reducing your attention span. Now that is very, very dangerous for life. Okay, now other things, please go on to Google and say type in what are the ill effects or what are the problem of multitasking. You can get. Okay, so I didn't get the name. Suman. Yeah, what is that women are doing in the kitchen? They are doing multitasking. That's why we have to respect them. They're doing a crime to feed us. Okay, so they can't get away with that. And the women who are here, please understand that it is not a super skill. And when you say I am multitasking, you don't proudly tell yourself you're doing a crime. Okay, sometimes it is required, but then be cautious and be aware that you will pay the price. So कितना कम हो सकता है उतना कम मल्टीटास्किंग करना चाहिए. Eliminate करना is the best thing, but you know life is not ideal life. Life happens, shit happens. So we have to manage. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, Suman. So आगे बढ़ते हैं. So first thing, one of the strategies which I will talk about is limit attention. Very important thing in life. Now what is meant by limit attention? So आपके visual purview में visually make sure that you don't have anything other than what is thing at hand. एग्जाम्पल के लिए आप ज्योग्राफी पढ़ रहे हो, जस्ट गिविंग एकेडमिक एग्जाम्पल. अगर आप ज्योग्राफी पढ़ रहे हो तो आपका बायोलॉजी बुक आपको दिखना भी नहीं चाहिए. आप पुणे का फाइल देख रहे हो ना, आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया का प्रपोजल देखना भी नहीं चाहिए. क्यों नहीं चाहिए? क्योंकि आइज आर द बिगेस्ट डिस्ट्रैक्टर्स ऑन द प्लैनेट. When you're seeing, you're not just seeing, you're processing information. Now when you look at me, you're not just looking at me. ये क्या है बंदा बाल ठीक तरह से क्यों नहीं आया, स्प्रिंग के जैसा ऐसे क्यों आया इसके ऊपर? Why is not using any background? अच्छा बैकग्राउंड था, इसका वॉइस ना उसके जैसे लुक रहा है. और earlier he was using bigger headset, now he's using a small one. ये पूरा और it's like इसका संतोष का वॉइस के जैसे दिख रहा है. People start processing information. It's not your mistake. The mind does that. तो आपके हाथ में क्या है? You have to basically make sure that visually आपके सामने कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. So I'm going to make a statement or give an example, see if that has ever happened to you. आप कुछ काम कर रहे होंगे and suddenly, okay, let me put everybody on mute. Okay, so आप कुछ काम कर रहे हैं and suddenly आप सोचेंगे यार मैं वियतनाम के बारे में क्यों सोच रहा हूँ? Why the hell I'm thinking about Vietnam? Why I'm thinking about cryptocurrency? ऐसे सोच आ जाता है. एंड आप आगे पीछे देखेंगे आपको वियतनाम के रिलेटेड कुछ भी चीज नहीं मिलेंगे आपको. अरे यार दिमाग तो बेवकूफ है यार, कहीं कहीं लेके जाएंगे, नहीं लेके जाएंगे. एनीथिंग इज हैपनिंग, देयर इज अ रीजन. सो लेट मी टेल यू हाउ इट वर्क्स एंड हाउ फास्ट इट वर्क्स. लेट्स से दिस इज माय ऑफिस रूम एंड देयर इज अ कैलेंडर इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी एंड द कैलेंडर हैज गॉट स्नो, इमेज ऑफ स्नो देयर. सो जैसे मैं ईमेल कर रहा हूं, मैं स्नो देखूंगा. स्नो, द माइंड विल नॉट स्टॉप, इट विल जस्ट स्टार्ट वर्किंग इमीडिएटली. देयर इज नो स्टॉपेज फॉर दैट. स्नो, क्रिसमस, क्रिसमस पार्टी, पार्टी रम केक रम आर्मी कैंटीन मेजर वर्मा वॉर वियतनाम. इतना पूरा डिस्टेंस जाएगा 1 नैनो सेकेंड में एंड यू कांट इवन फिगर आउट व्हाट द हेल हैज हैपेंड टू यू. एंड देन यू विल बी पकड़े रहो, नथिंग रिलेटेड टू वियतनाम. बट देन द स्नो इज द कल्प्रिट. इज दिस मेकिंग सेंस? हैव यू हर्ड पीपल सेइंग दैट माइंड इज लाइक ए मंकी? सुना होगा आपने. When you understand that mind is like a monkey, don't give it branches and cry later. कि मेरा दिमाग इधर उधर भागता है, क्योंकि आपने दिया है ना. So this is very important. So let's say for example I'm talking to you here and there's a sanitizer bottle. Very innocent. Sanitizer तो रहना चाहिए मेरे सामने, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सैनिटाइजर का बॉटल है, वो खत्म होने वाला है, उसको देखूंगा, अरे खत्म होने वाला है, अमेजोन में ऑर्डर करूंगा. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, divorce, Johnny Depp, Pirates of Caribbean, and I'll be lost in the Pirates of Caribbean. एंड जाकिर जी कुछ पूछ रहे होंगे, मुझे दिमाग में जाएगा भी नहीं. सॉरी, आई डिडंट गेट यू. व्हाट इज दैट? सॉरी अगेन. यू नो, कल्प्रिट इज द सैनिटाइजर राइट इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. सो प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट यू लिमिट योर डिस्ट्रैक्शंस. नाउ उसके लिए आपके सामने यू शुड नॉट हैव एनीथिंग अदर देन व्हाट यू आर डीलिंग विद. ओके, इज द स्क्रीन ऑन? या. सो आपको लिमिट डिस्ट्रैक्शंस करने से आपको फायदा क्या मिलेगा? दिस इज व्हाट विल हैपन टू योर माइंड. Amazingly, the mind will get centered and it will not go anywhere and you can access yourself. जब भी आप center होते हैं ना, only when you're in the present moment you will have continuous and never ending access to yourself. आप इधर उधर भटकेंगे ना, आपका access खत्म हो जाए. And that's where the problem comes in. Okay, second one is active disengagement. ये थोड़ा उटपटांग लगेगा, active भी है, disengage भी है. ये क्या है? So this is one of the most important takeaways if you can follow it. Now what is active disengagement? Is basically like how you can go from reaction mode to responsive mode. तो हम लोग वायर नहीं किया है, so let me explain myself. Why are we not wired to respond? We are wired to react. So some 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, I exactly don't know when, but you know, when we're in the jungle, we have been given some gifts, the gifts of survival. You know, there are two important gifts which we got along with every other animal, and that is detection of sound and detection of motion. That's a survival instinct, survival gift है. तो अगर मैं यहाँ जंगल में घूम रहा हूँ, वहां से कुछ आवाज आया, now what does that mean? It can only mean two things in life. Maybe one, it's a threat, and maybe two, it's an opportunity. I'm not talking about the opportunity to go to Canada or opportunity to eat some biryani. No, no, no. I'm talking about the core opportunity that means food. Food is a core opportunity, and threat is a core threat, which is a life threat. So in that time, only thing you are supposed to do is, if you want to survive on the planet, you better react. Now, let's say, for example, you are walking in the jungle and you see a tiger there coming in front of you. And if you are responding to the tiger, ये तो बहुत स्माइली स्माइली दिख रहा है, सैटरडे तो नॉनवेज नहीं खाएगा शायद, maybe it is coming to greet me. Hello, better run away from there. You can't respond. You want to survive, react. Or you're seeing a deer there. You cannot say कि यार इतने बच्चे को कैसे मार दूंगा यार, कल ही तो खाया डियर, फिर रोज रोज क्या खाना है. No, you will die. React, go and catch it. You can't have fancy conversations in your head. You got to react to survive. So that's why we are wired to react to survive. It's a survival necessity. And you cannot simply say, oh, don't react. How can you not react? It's like, don't survive, die. No, it is not possible like that. So आपको करना क्या है इसके, वो गिफ्ट आपको वापस कर देना चाहिए. Now we have outgrown the nature. सही गलत में नहीं जा रहा हूं. The fact is we have outgrown the nature. Okay? ठंड नहीं है तो एसी लगा लो. Okay, I mean, people are doing everything unnaturally. I'm not going in right or wrong, but we have outgrown nature. So now we don't need that gift. Not only we don't need that gift, it's actually poison now. Now, why it's a poison? Yeah, it's basically flight or fight. Thank you for sharing that. So why is it a poison? Is because now today I'm sitting here in my room. If somebody moving in my front, they should have crossed 5 security layer at least. मेरा वॉचमैन, मेरा लिफ्टमैन, फिर मेरा फ्लोर का गार्ड, फिर माय मॉम, फिर वन मोर गेट, एंड देन ओनली दे विल कम हियर. सो देयर इज नो लाइफ थ्रेट नाउ फॉर एनीबॉडी. जीरो लाइफ थ्रेट है किसी के भी. हाँ, टेररिस्ट एम्बुश है, वो गॉड भी कुछ नहीं कर सकते. वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट. बट जनरली इन योर लाइफ, जीरो थ्रेट इन लाइफ because of our ability to do whatever things we are doing. Second thing, in our life there are zero opportunities. Again, I'm not talking about मैं कौन सा business करना है, वो नहीं बात कर रहा हूँ. Core opportunity is food. Zero opportunity है life में. Thanks to COVID, if you open the fridge, you have 1 week food and you have 6 months ration in the house. Thanks to Swiggy, at 2 a.m. you can get chicken biryani with 20 minutes delivery guarantee. बैठे बैठे खाना मिल सकते हैं आपको. कोई opportunity दुनिया में है ही नहीं. Okay, ना opportunity है ना threat है. So we don't need that gifts. So we have to give back or disengage. उसके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं? Very simple activity. So every day sit down for 5 minutes and don't respond to anything. जैसे आप आंख नहीं बंद करना है, आंख ओपन करके रखना है, because once you close your eyes you can get into meditative mode or whatever things there, but just open your eyes and sit down. वहां से कुछ आवाज आ रहा है, फोन रिंग कर रहा है, okay, I listen to the phone but I'm not going to turn my head. Now the fan is making noise, I'm not going to look at it. Oh, there's some noise happening here, I'm not going to look at it. Somebody moving there, normal tendency is like that. Now I'm not moving. Yes, somebody moving, I know, I'm not going to move. Now just do this for 5 minutes a day. You know what happens? The brain will get a training and understand, I did not die. I still survive. Wow, I don't respond there, I still survive. Now, have you seen in seminars, classrooms, what happens? Now, there's this lecture going on, somebody behind, everybody will look back and see. And लोग बोलते हैं यार तुम्हारा concentration कहाँ रख रहे हो? नहीं बाबा, concentration का बात नहीं है, I'm like life at stake for me. So brain is validating, is there any threat for me? Is there any opportunity for me? Because the brain is operating from that level. Because every small thing is a threat or an opportunity. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, किचन में कुछ sound आया, people see. Now, why do people see? Is because, is there a threat for me? Is there an opportunity for me? But then when you, 5 minutes a day, if you sit down and you don't react to things, now you get the filtering mechanism. And the brain knows, oh, if I don't respond to this, I don't die. And when the brain understands it don't die, it will stop responding to unnecessary things. अकलमंद को इशारा काफी है, पता है आपको? And we are not even talking to अकलमंद, we are talking to अकल. When it knows, it knows. Okay, when it survives, it knows, okay, good. Now that's how the thing will happen. And that is where you can go from reaction to response. Is this making sense? Okay, so very quickly, these are the two things, gifts which you have to give back. We don't need these gifts for survival. Okay, we may need this for pleasure, we may need this for anything else, but we don't need this for survival. Okay, so kick them out of your life by actively disengaging at least 5 minutes a day. आपको मजा आ जाएगा. I always get mails and comments from people. Sir, अभी ना मैं मेल कर रहा हूँ, मेरा फोन बज रहा है, मेरे को कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा, मेरा सर हिल भी नहीं था. It will not even move. Yes, that's going to happen because the brain knows I'm not going to die if I don't see the phone. On an experiential level, the brain knows there's no damage. Okay, that's very important. So very quickly, let's finish off, wrap up. Third thing is you have to know what are your distractions and eliminate. कोई भी कुछ काम करने से पहले एक 2 मिनट के लिए सोचना कि क्या डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो सकता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई एम गोइंग टू गिव अ टॉक हियर. नाउ व्हाट कुड बी डिस्ट्रैक्शन? Maybe somebody talking may be a distraction. Maybe somebody knocking the door may be a distraction. Maybe something else. So I told my mom, अगर बेल बजेगा तो प्लीज आप ही देख लीजिए, 9:30 बजे तक मैं नहीं जा पाऊंगा. So I have cleared my distraction. तो लोग ना ये पहले सोचते नहीं है. बेल बज गया और सॉरी एक मिनट, पहले सोचना चाहिए. So eliminate obvious distractions. So life happens. कुछ हो गया तो आपको डिस्ट्रैक्ट होना ही पड़ेगा, लेकिन obvious distractions तो हो सकता है ना. कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इन जुलाई आई वाज इन हैदराबाद. आई वेंट टू अ रेस्टोरेंट. जैसे मैं अंदर गया, एसी देखा मैंने, एंड आई कॉल्ड द वेटर एंड सेड कैन यू चेंज द एसी फ्रॉम 17 to 24. 17 में था वो, तो ही सेड ओके सर. रिमोट से चेंज कर दिया उसने. फिर मैं जाके बैठा. फिर आई ऑलवेज टॉक विद एवरीबॉडी. सो वेटर से भी बात कर रहा था. उसने पूछा सर एक क्वेश्चन पूछो. मैंने बोला हाँ. लोग ना बैठते हैं, ठंड लगने के बाद बोलते हैं कि एसी बंद करो. आप तो पहले बोल दिया, क्यों? द आंसर फॉर दैट इज बिकॉज आई नो माई डिस्ट्रैक्शन. 17 degrees cold air is a distraction for me. After leaving Delhi, my resistance to cold has gone out. Delhi में तो बहुत अच्छा था, but then I can't stand a big cold, so 17 is too much for me. So लोग क्या करते हैं ना, बैठ जाता है, खाना शुरू कर जाते हैं, तब ठंड लगना शुरू होगा. देन वेटर को बुलाएंगे, इसको टेम्परेचर को बढ़ाओ. वो बोलेगा सर रिमोट कंट्रोल काम नहीं कर रहा है. मैं ताली लेके कहाँ भाग जाऊँ तब? So make sure that you eliminate your distractions. So एक बार सोचेंगे ना, what could be distractions in life? People don't ask this question. जब डिस्ट्रैक्शन आएंगे उसको सॉल्व कर लेंगे, एंड कल भी वो डिस्ट्रैक्शन आएगा, फिर कल सॉल्व कर लेंगे, बट उसमें से सीखते नहीं है. हैव यू सीन पीपल जो ऑफलाइन सेमिनार में होते हैं, तो आप बैठ के आराम से सुन रहे हैं, तो कोई बंदा उठेगा एंड वॉकिंग शुरू करेगा. पूछेंगे भाई क्यों उठ रहे हो? यहाँ से ना एसी सर के ऊपर लग रहा है, यहाँ से स्पीकर ना बहुत कान में लग रहा है. अरे भाई बैठने वक्त क्या किया आपने? उसको पता भी नहीं है कि कोल्ड एयर इज अ डिस्ट्रैक्शन फॉर हिम, लाउड नॉइस इज अ डिस्ट्रैक्शन फॉर हिम. अगर आप एक दिन बैठ के सोचेंगे ना क्या डिस्ट्रैक्शंस हो सकता है, मेंटली एक बार मेंटली डे रन करेंगे ना, आपको डिस्ट्रैक्शंस पता हो जाएगा. Just by being aware of your distractions, you will have power to eliminate them. Okay, so this is very powerful. Eliminate distractions, and when you know your distractions, your mind will sweep them away. So just to give some summary. So that is the end of the thing. So distractions, आपको when you know the distractions, you will have a capacity to handle them. So that's the content for today. So if you have any question, I can respond. And of course, I am available on the CBLM group, so you can also ask questions there.
Anant, I have a question.
Yes, Sumant.
Is consistency linked to distraction? And what is your take on how to be consistent in a task that we are doing?
Super. And you asked a very powerful question. And this answer is going to be an eye-opener for a lot of people. Thanks, Sumant, for asking that question. So consistency is linked to distraction very much, first thing. And more than a link to distraction, consistency is linked to the neurocurrency. So let me give an example, okay? Let's say मेरा महीने का सैलरी 10,000 है, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, मुझे टीवी खरीदना है तो EMI में ले लूंगा. तो EMI में क्या होगा, सिर्फ 2,000 दे दो, फिर बाकी 10 साल करो, एक 100 रुपए करके, जो भी है, whatever is the scheme. मैं गाड़ी भी खरीद लूंगा, फिर ये भी खरीद लूंगा. मेरा औकात इज 10,000. ठीक है. अगर मेरा EMI के ऊपर EMI जा रहा है ना, एक दिन ऐसे आएगा मुझे खाना खाने के लिए नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन EMI जाएगा, and I'll be very stressful in life. Is it making sense? Okay. Any new habit formation is like buying something. when you want to buy something, आपको डाउन पेमेंट बहुत ज्यादा करना पड़ेगा. आपको घर खरीदना है तो 25 लाख डाउन पेमेंट करो, बाद में बाकी लोन मिलेगा आपको. बट उसमें भी आपको हर महीने 25,000 या 40,000 पे करना पड़ेगा. तो आप चेक करना चाहिए कि डू आई हैव माय औकात टू पे दैट. फर्स्ट थिंग इज द हेवी डाउन पेमेंट व्हिच आई हैव. सेकंड इज द मंथली इंस्टॉलमेंट व्हिच आई हैव. सो हैबिट फॉर्मेशन नीड्स अ लॉट ऑफ मेंटल करेंसी. हैबिट फॉर्मेशन के लिए आपका टाइम, इमोशन, एनर्जी, स्पेस एंड फोकस जाएगा, बहुत ज्यादा जाएगा. ओके तो क्या हो जाता ना, सो आई वाज टॉकिंग टू समबडी डे बिफोर स्टे एंड ही सेड कि यार मेरा ना गोल्स ना नहीं हो रहा है, मेरा प्लान नहीं चल रहा. मैंने पूछा कितना चीज नया ऐड करा है. 12 चीज कर रहा हूं मैं. 12 चीज कर रहा है तो मैं 12 चीज इंस्टॉलमेंट में ले लूंगा तो 4 को तो इंस्टॉलमेंट नहीं कर पाऊंगा ना मैं. 12 मेरा औकात से बाहर है. सो understand that building up a new habit or building up consistency is massive expense. So just because I have an emotion कि अच्छा मुझे ना नारीवन पॉइंट में बंगला चाहिए, I have to ask myself, do I have that औकात? So without asking, just because somebody told me, just because it feels good, just because my dad has worked very hard to see me as a lawyer, you know, if I invest in that, do I have that mental ability, capacity to go there? Now that's where the whole problem. So if you can manage that and see इसके लिए इतना जाएगा तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ क्या इसमें सच में? That is where the whole thing will come in. So does that answer your question, Sumant?
Absolutely, Anant. So we have to conserve our mental energy towards performing the activities in being consistent. Correct. Yeah.
And you have to be so conjuice in spending mental energy. Like I don't buy anything other than black. 100% मैं black ही खरीदूंगा. लोग बोलते पागल हो गया क्या? वो लोग पागल है, मैं नहीं हूँ. And I don't watch TV for 26 years, so there was a LinkedIn conversation which was going on, and there's a guy asking how are you living? So I made a comment saying that I am more sane than most of the people I know on the planet. I'll tell you how this actually impacts. So I mean, there's a real incident. So I was invited to dinner for not here in Malaysia. So I was there, and then there's a personal discussion going on the dining table. मैं एग्जांपल के लिए बता रहा हूँ, names are all changed because it's a Malaysian kind of a thing. So एक बंदा बोलता है कि it's like 8 people sitting on the dinner, okay, dinner table. तो एक conversation शुरू हो गया. बोलता है कि यार प्रिया ऐसे कैसे करती है. बोलता है प्रिया का क्या गलत है, वो तो राहुल भी तो ऐसा है ना. तो उसको वो नहीं करना चाहिए था. जब वो कोर्ट रूम से आया था ना, उसको पर्स देना था पहले. वो नहीं दिया तो क्या, अगर आप होते नहीं करते क्या. ऐसे चल रहा था डिस्कशन. मैंने बोला यार ये क्या हो गया यार. तो so it's personal thing happening, so it's not a good idea to for a third person to be there. So I'm sensitive, so I said कि यार मुझे ना एक कॉल आ गया, so let me go back and I've had my meal, thank you so much करके मैं आगे चले गया. Then my friend came after a few minutes. They said यार इतना कम क्यों कहा है. मैंने बोला यार कभी आ रहा हूँगा मैं. Now I think it's a time to leave it. You please carry on, and I don't think it's a right time to be in. मैंने बोला क्या हो गया. मैंने यार कुछ पर्सनल चल रहा है ना, तो it's not a good idea. तो क्या पर्सनल चल रहा है यार, वो प्रिया के बारे में चल रहा है ना. So why should people will feel uncomfortable, right? अरे वो तो टीवी सीरियल था यार. Emotional. They are actually shouting on each other. कितना इमोशन चले जाता है उसमें. वो स्क्रिप्ट में जो लिखा उसने प्रिया किया, और एक खाना छोड़ के एक के ऊपर गाली दे रहे हैं वो लोग. कितना नॉनसेंस है वो. Okay, but anyways, so this is a whole thing which is happening, and that's the reason why I make sure that I don't spend things on unnecessary things which is not impacting me. So that's how my thing. And you have to validate कि आपको न्यूज देखना, if you are a share investor, न्यूज जरूर देखना चाहिए. ना when I say न्यूज नहीं देखना है या टीवी नहीं देखना है, कुछ नहीं करना है, माइंडलेसली नहीं करना है. आप सोच के इन्वेस्ट करेंगे कोई बात नहीं. एवरीथिंग हैज टू टाई अप विद एन इंटेंट कि मैं न्यूज क्यों देख रहा हूँ. क्योंकि वो दिखा रहा है देख रहा हूँ, मेरा वेस्ट ऑफ एनर्जी. क्योंकि मुझे चाहिए, आई वांट टू गो टू कोरिया, तो कोरिया का न्यूज देखना है, सो दैट्स एन इन्वेस्टमेंट. सो जो भी चीज बाहर जा रहा है ना, दो चीजों में जा सकता है, इन्वेस्टमेंट में जा सकता है या एक्सपेंस में जा सकता है. Make sure that it is going more into investment and less into expenditure. So that's the clarity on that. Suman? Okay, super. So any other question? So if I think time is also up. So ma'am, back to you. If any question, I'm still available for last one question if there is.
Anybody last one question, or we start with our OKRs?
One more last question, Anant, from my side itself. What is your daily routine, Anant, and what do you recommend us as business people to have the routine? Because I'll tell you one thing, this I faced as a personal problem also.
Yeah.
When I have so much of thoughts running in my mind about what is going on in my business, I stopped listening to my wife. When she's talking to me, nothing will come inside because I'm always in my business thoughts.
Absolutely.
Now, a solution that I found out was I started writing a to-do list in my diary, so that brought down the things to a great extent. But is there any better method? What you follow to be more focused?
Yes, there are a lot of methods, but then there cannot be one generic solution for this, because every person is different, every routine is different. So in general, the only thing I can say is that save on mental energy so that you can get your energy up for what you need. But then we can do a one-to-one, so I can share some ideas on that. Is it okay?
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful
Everyone.
session
Thank
by
you.
Anant.
Thank you.
Everyone, you enjoyed the session. Give him a big round of applause.
It was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful. Anant, I have a small question for you. Can
Which
I?
one? Ma'am. Can I
Ma'am,
take
if you allow.
Yes, Vikram.
Anant, what is the way out of getting rid of mobile distraction? That's really interfere. So what is the best way of getting rid of this? What do you say,
Okay, there's
mobile?
no one best way. There are a lot of things which can be done. So what I'll do is probably I have got something on mobile etiquette for mind management. Okay, so I have got something. So I'll share it with all the people, or maybe it's a free seminar you can all join in. So I don't charge for that seminar. So I'll put it probably in the next week, and I'll invite everybody. So it's about half an hour to 45 minutes. So there are a lot of things which you can do, not just one thing. So mobile etiquette for mind management is the topic. So that will be helpful for sure.
Yeah,
So,
that will be wonderful. Thank you so much,
we'll
Anand.
invite
It was
everybody. Yeah.
superb.
Thank you.
It was really superb. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anand, I should have one more.
Sir, one question. Anand.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
हेलो आनंद.
जाकिर भाई बताइए.
या जो 5 मिनट हमें बैठना है आँख खोल के, तो इट्स अ बिग टाइम. जब हम कुछ नहीं सोच रहे तो इट्स अ वेरी बिग टाइम.
हाँ.
तो उस टाइम पे माइंड का क्या क्या मतलब कहाँ ध्यान कर रहे हैं उसको?
हाँ, ठीक है, बढ़िया क्वेश्चन है. दिस वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. एक चीज है, 5 मिनट कुछ नहीं करना बहुत दिक्कत होता है लोगों को. सो इफ दैट इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम, स्टार्ट विद 2 मिनट्स. क्योंकि हमारा मेंटल कैपेसिटी 2 मिनट का है, तो 2 मिनट करो. आई कैन सिट डाउन फॉर 1 आवर, बट डोंट ट्राई टू डू इट. मैंने किया है, बहुत ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस किया है. ठीक है, अब 2 मिनट से स्टार्ट कीजिए. 2 मिनट आप माइंड कहीं भी चले जाइए, कोई फर्क नहीं है. आपका सिर नहीं घूमना चाहिए. अच्छा, मुझे फैन हो रहा है तो कभी नहीं, इलेक्ट्रिशियन आए नहीं आज तक, चलेगा, कोई बात नहीं. लेकिन सर उठा के देखना नहीं है, क्योंकि देखते समय में ट्यूबलाइट लो देखूंगा, और यार लक्ष्मण से लेना बल्ब लेके आना है मुझे, कुछ ना कुछ आएगा दिमाग में. तो सर इधर उधर होना नहीं चाहिए. आप सिट डाउन, लेट द थॉट्स कम इन, इट्स ओके, बट डोंट टेक एनी एक्शन. डज इट आंसर योर क्वेश्चन?
Thank you, dear. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So wonderful session on focus, and as coaches, we know where focus goes, energy flows. So whatever you focus on is going to manifest in your life.